Lazarus Planet is the current big event going on in the world of DC Comics. Damian Wayne Robin made his way to Lazarus Island, where he got into a giant battle that ended with him defeating the Lazarus Monster. But upon defeating the Lazarus Monster, an ancient evil known as Neja decided to try and use the Lazarus pits to his advantage and began to mind control Damian Wayne into battling against Batman in an attempt to sap all of the magic out of the magic users within the DC universe. While that plotline was Batman vs. Robin and came to its inevitable conclusion, freeing Damian from the mind control of Neja, Batman sacrificed himself in the end to defeat Neja. Using the Lazarus pit, they kind of half-revived Batman. But then the Lazarus pit exploded across the entire planet like a volcano, creating the Lazarus Rains. This rain is flooding the Earth and altering superheroes' powers and giving superheroes new powers. And that brings us to Lazarus Pit Alpha, which is our first episode of today. Then the story goes into a series of one-shots, explaining the new powers and the power changes of various superheroes. We've picked out some of our favorite ones, and we're going to be telling you those stories as well. This is the Comicstorian channel, where I take some of your favorite comic books, break them down into audio dramas, and narrate them back to you so that you know what's going on in the world of comics and you know what to add to your collection. Now let's get into Lazarus Planet Alpha. The plane barrels through the storm as Damian Wayne is at the controls. Black Alice sits next to him and Talia al Ghul in the back, cradling a wounded Batman. "I'm going to fix this," Robin tells them, and Batman struggles to look at his son. "The Lazarus volcano. What's the aftermath?" he asks, but his radio beeps and Supergirl's voice comes over the Justice League line. "Attention! This is Supergirl with a planetary alert. Anyone not already engaged is to report to the Hall of Justice immediately. Supercharged weather conditions created by a magical rain are blanketing the Earth." Lightning crashes outside of the plane and the engines suddenly stop. "Great," Robin whispers as he struggles at the controls, but the plane is dropping out of the sky at an increasing rate. "Everyone, brace for impact!" he shouts out, and the plane goes down, slamming into the Hall of Justice. But Supergirl and Power Girl are there to stop it. "Enemy attack?" Power Girl asks as they slow the plane. X-ray vision says no. Supergirl tells her with a shake of her head. Robin and the others struggle from the crash, and the young hero faces those that have gathered around him. "Attention everyone! We are at war with an ancient evil that goes by the name of King Firebull. He is responsible for the green storms, but there is a way to stop him." As murmurs begin to go through the crowd as they realize they're listening to a child, Batman looks up. "Listen to my son." Robin quickly fills them in on the events that led here, warning them that the storm will play havoc with magic and science-based powers, but they need to separate into two teams, with one team heading to the Tower of Fate to retrieve the magical artifacts that Neja drained and bring them to Black Alice so that she can reverse what happened. The second team will go searching for Neja himself, so that they can force him to aid them in the battle against his son, King Firebull. "I'll manage any late arrivals. Monkey Prince stays with me." It doesn't take long for the heroes to arrive at the Tower of Fate. Power Girl, Zatanna, Mary Marvel can't seem to get through the magical defenses, so Cyborg and Blue Beetle give it a try. But when they hit the tower with their alien tech, there's a massive explosion that throws them away. "That wasn't the tower. Where did that come from?" Cyborg gasps. A voice calls out behind him, and that's when he sees the massive Minotaur-like creature, lightning flashing behind the monster as it speaks. "From me. I was sent to guard the tower. I take pride in my work." Zatanna looks up in shock. The Silverhorn King, one of King Firebull's two lackeys. "This is bad," she tells Power Girl. Massive wolves jump past the Silver King as he orders them to attack our heroes. "Rend them limb from limb," he bellows as the heroes meet with the magical monsters. Meanwhile, the second team has arrived at the Himalayas. It's there that they meet the Golden Horned King. "Humble servant of the King Firebull. He has sent me to retrieve the coward Neja," he says from his perch, and Supergirl steps forward, motioning Batman and Talia away. "Blue Devil and I have this. You two go," she says, but even though her powers have been altered by the magical rain, she rushes forward, with Blue Devil keeping the Golden Horn busy long enough for Supergirl to throw a massive boulder at him. As they push forward to the temple, Batman and Talia discover that Nezha is fighting against Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy inside. How did they beat us to him? Talia says in surprise. But as the rest of the heroes are fighting against the Silverhorn's wolves, Mary Marvel punches him once more in the face.
Your efforts are embarrassing, child. The rain hits harder than you,
he says with a laugh, but Power Girl suddenly swoops in, grabbing the Silverhorn by the head, flying him up into the air. As they leave, the wolves are growing weaker, and Zatanna is able to contain them. Meanwhile, Supergirl continues to fight, but the Golden Horn's power of fear begins to overtake her. Blue Devil shouts to her, reminding her that Supergirl never submits to fear, and she looks up with anger in her eyes. You're right, she says, slamming her hands together, performing a super clap that topples the mountain around them. That'll hold him for a bit at least, she says, grabbing Blue Devil and flying them to safety. Inside of the temple, Talia rushes to Poison Ivy, demanding to know what she is doing there. You people have forgotten that I have a PhD in botanical studies. Once Swamp Thing and I determined that the Lazarus resin was falling out of the sky, we came here to learn more about how it was affecting his realm, the Green. But Nezha has already had enough, ripping clear of Swamp Thing's attacks.
Enough! The devil Nezha cowers before no one. Victory can still be mine.
He shouts, but Supergirl appears, blasting him with heat vision. Weakened, Swamp Thing and Ivy manage to restrain Nezha and allow the others to blast him until he finally falls. At the Tower of Fate, the storm is ripping through the area, with magical lightning crashing against the ground, threatening to kill everybody. Mary looks up, back at the tower. Everyone, fall back from the tower! Way, way back, she shouts, speaking the magic word, Shazam! And her lightning falls from the sky, cracking the Tower of Fate open. After everyone comes back, Blue Beetle looks at the tower in surprise. I thought we were here for tridents and stuff. What's with the sleepover? He asks as everyone looks up to see the magic users of the universe stepping out of the tower's ruins. The magic users collect their weapons and prepare for the fight, with Zatanna looking at her group and smiling. I think we got it. Finally. A fighting chance. Back over at Nezha's temple, he has fallen. The heroes gather around him, and Supergirl can hear a faint heartbeat within. She's not sure if they can use Nezha's magic to heal Batman, to finally revive him fully from the dead, but she looks up to see black smoke curling around the dark night, and he begins to take on a monstrous appearance.
No need. I'm feeling better than ever.
He growls at her. Meanwhile, over at the Hall of Justice, Damian looks up from his computer as the wall suddenly caves inward. Who's there? He shouts. King Fireball smiles at him as he steps out of the smoke and the rubble.
You know my name. Call me King Fireball.
We now go to one of the one-shots, Assault on Krypton, to discover some of the new powers hitting some of your favorite superheroes. Earlier, Dreamer was going about her day when she was suddenly hit with a vision of Robin crashing his plane into the Hall of Justice. Everything was bathed in gold, and she sees her vision is reflected in the helmet of fate. When she comes to, she leaps through Bruce's dreams and pops out of the Hall of Justice. Robin, the future, I can't! She gasps as the images flood through her mind, but Damian helps her to her feet, asking what is she talking about. The future, it's gone dark, she tells him, and she quickly explains what she saw, telling him that it was reflected in the golden helmet. Damian and Supergirl fill Dreamer in on what happened with Nezha, and they explain that they are outmatched when it comes to King Fireball. Not with the helmet, we aren't. We get the helmet, we restore the future. Where is it? Dreamer asks. Batman struggles up from his bed, explaining that Khaled is the current Dr. Fate. Or he was, until Nezha undoubtedly bested him for it. Dreamer nods. Do you think he'll know where we can find it? She asks, and Batman believes that Khaled might know where the helmet is. But he points out that Khaled isn't responding to their summons to the Hall of Justice. But Dreamer believes that she might be able to track him through his dreams and figure out his location. She quickly drops into the dream world, appearing in a hospital next to Dream Khaled. Watch where you're going, nurse, he says to her as he pushes past, but he doesn't know her and doesn't realize he's in a dream. Listen to me, you are Khaled, Dr. Fate. You wear the helmet of fate. It was taken from you, and I need you to show me where it is. It's time to wake up. But Khaled shrugs her off, continuing on in his dream. That's when a voice calls out to her.
It's no use, let him go.
the voice tells her, letting her know that he is buried deep within his own subconscious, trapped by Nezha. His connection to the Helmet of Fate remains, buried even deeper in his mind than himself. For now, it sleeps, lying dormant until it's found. Within the helmet also resides a fragment of myself. Khaled cannot guide you to what you seek, but I can. Dreamer keeps walking until she finds an exit door that glows. She opens it, revealing a long staircase going downward, and the voice continues to talk to her, letting her know that fate flows through her. She finally arrives at the Helmet of Fate. The voice thanks her as she reaches out for it. And with that, Dreamer breaks the surface of the Lazarus pit, the real Helmet of Fate clutched in her hands as she is screaming out. Meanwhile, over in Metropolis's garment district, a looter has broken into a store and stolen a jacket. As he walks out, he finds Superboy, Jonathan Kent, waiting for him. "You want to go ahead and put that back?" John asks as he floats above. "But it looks so good on me," the looter says with a smile. When suddenly the magical Lazarus storm rips through the planet, the rain instantly affecting John, and he falls out of the sky. "Ha! You alright? You don't look," the looter says as John hits the ground, and then as he reaches out to him, electrical energy suddenly begins to swirl around John Kent. The looter steps back, his eyes blazing as fire swirls from his hands. Later, John sits up on the looter's couch. "Look who's up! You exploded!" "That happened a lot?" the looter asks. John is shocked as the looter explains that a mysterious volcano has erupted and is causing a rain that is affecting everyone. "It's all over the news. You're gonna love the powers that I ended up with," the looter says with a smile, holding up the trash bin. "You should take off your wet cape. You're, still sparkling." John knows that his new powers are dangerous, but people are still in need of his help. "I can help you with the city," the looter says, explaining that his name is Ash and joining John in the city. Though he's not very good at flying and constantly running through things, the two of them stop several robbers and looters. "Don't even think about looting," John reminds him, and Ash smiles as he takes looted sunglasses off of a different looter. "Is it really stealing if I take it off the looter?" Ash asks him, and John just folds his arms across his chest. "Yes." They continue to help, but John's powers are still affected and he suddenly drops out of the sky. Luckily, Ash manages to catch him. "I know you only let me tag along so you didn't have a superpowered thief on the loose while you saved the city, but I hope I made myself useful," he says as he helps John to his feet. Ash suddenly stumbles again though. "What's going on with you?" John asks him. "I think what powers I had were temporary. Looks like my joyride is really over." Ash knows that he's about to be arrested for what he did, but John offers to put in a good word for him because he helped the city. "You're sweet, Boy Scout. Maybe when I get out, you can take me flying," Ash tells him. Later, John returns to Ash's apartment to retrieve his cape, but he's shocked to find that it is gone and only a note from Ash remains. On the nearby television, the news reports of a fire-based prisoner that managed to escape from county lockup. There's also a storyline of Power Girl in here, but we're actually going to end our story here. If you want to read this particular issue and find out about Power Girl's new abilities to read minds, then make sure you go pick up Lazarus Planet: Assault on Krypton. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Lazarus Planet coverage, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell and hit like. Since this is broken down into a series of one-shots, we're going to be bringing you all of them weekly, probably about 2 of them a week. Every Thursday is the goal. So like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll find out about everything changing over in the world of DC Comics. Don't forget, if you want early access, sign up for our YouTube memberships, or you can join us over at Patreon, where we give you early access to all of our videos. And thank you so much. I really just appreciate you guys watching the video all the way to the ending. You guys are incredible. And if you're still listening, do me a favor and check out some of our other projects. We created a podcast channel called Absolutely Marvel and DC, which has been going quite well for the last year. We've also launched Comicstorian, where I basically just talk on camera about my favorite manga and how I think it's going to be going. If you got time, I'd appreciate you jumping in on those. Otherwise, I'll see you next time right here at Lazarus Planet.